How's it going, everyone? Welcome to episode 7 of my series, Artifact Hunter, the series in which I will start with a fresh level 65 account that has no artifacts on it, and one by one hunt them all down in New World, showing you how I go about getting them, and how long it takes me to get each one. But first, please consider giving the video a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps out massively. Now, let's get into it. If you're just here to see how I got certain artifacts, feel free to use the timestamps below to jump to specific ones, but if you're here to follow me along through the entire Artifact Hunter journey, let's get started. Last time out, we hunted and acquired Inferno, Justice, and Fracture. If you missed that episode, links to it will be in the top right of this video and in the video description below. Go check that out if you want to see how long it took me to acquire those artifacts. After episode 6, this is how the artifact hit list is shaping up for the start of this episode. We've knocked off 18 artifacts, with the total grind time for this series sitting at 10 hours and 5 minutes. But for this episode, we have something entirely different for you. Usually, at the start of an episode, I'd head on over to newworldguides.com and start looking into what I want to hunt down first. But instead, this time out, we're going to be hunting down all of the artifacts that are currently locked behind the PvP track rewards. This will be an insane time sink, as this is a fresh character with no PvP tracks completed, and the current system in place to get artifacts from the track rewards requires me to get all the way up to 50 PvP track levels. But by the end of this episode, not only will we pretty much double our artifact count, but we'll also more than 10x our total grind time as well. So let's get grinding. First, let me go over how the PvP track reward system currently works when it comes to artifacts. Artifacts can only spawn from checkpoint 3 on a reward track, and only at certain levels. For starters, there's a chance for an artifact on tracks level 29 and 39, and then, from tracks 50 to 200, there's a larger chance. When it comes to the percentages, we have Zelenin over on Reddit to thank for these numbers. We have a whopping 98% chance at an artifact from tracks 50 to 99, and the odds decrease significantly after that, as seen on screen. Along with that, you have to take Azoth's salt into account, as each artifact will cost 50,000 salt to unlock, and with them dropping so frequently from tracks 50 onwards, you'll constantly be running out of Azoth's salt, due to its 100,000 salt cap. But now that we know how to get the artifacts, let's go over my plan to hunt them all down. First, I had the insane grind up to PvP track level 50 so I can start knocking them off, with hopefully one or two before then from tracks 29 and 39. Getting one on either of these tracks would help out massively, as during this grind, I'll be finding myself at Azoth's salt cap frequently, so to be able to spend 50,000 salt and start earning more again will save me a bunch of time in the long run. Then, once I hit track level 50, my grind will be more based on getting Azoth's salt, as I'll want to unlock one artifact per track level from then on, and I'll be getting track levels a lot quicker than I will be getting 50,000 salt. In anticipation of this, I'll be stacking up as many Azoth salt vials as I can during this period, from the PvP track rewards, season pass, and any other way possible. That way, when it comes to time to getting the artifacts, I should be able to unlock quite a few in quick succession. But what will I be doing during this period to earn PvP XP and level my PvP tracks? Luckily for me, I'm the kind of player who enjoys both PvP and PvE, but with this account not being built that well for PvP, it would make the process a lot more frustrating. So I opted to mix a variety of PvE and PvP methods, depending on what I was in the mood for that day, which I will go over quickly. If I was in the mood for PvP, I'd jump in and tag all the races I could for the day, especially ones my faction was defending in, for higher odds at winning, and therefore more PvP XP. From there, I'd play OPR matches or 3v3s, depending on what I felt like, and when I needed a break, I'd AFK sit on faction control points to get some passive PvP XP. If you're looking for a guide on how I go about faction control points, I'll link one in the video description. If I wasn't in the mood for PvP, or I was getting frustrated with it, I'd focus more on PvE methods, which I'll quickly go over. For starters, there's the Great Cleave missions method, which is a simple and relaxing method for when I needed something less intensive. A video going over how I go about doing this method will be linked in the description as well, and at the end of this video. Or, I would join OPR matches and just build up bases while avoiding PvP, which I also have a guide on that will be linked in the video description for those of you who want to PvE and OPR. Then, like previously mentioned, when I needed a break from the game, I'd sit AFK on faction control points to gain some passive PvP XP. But with the plan in place, I set out on the Monumentous grind. The first few track levels were the most brutal, knowing how much further I still had ahead of me. Slowly but surely though, putting in a few hours every now and then when I could, I grinded my way up through the tracks. Throughout the whole process, I was averaging a track level every hour, so by that logic, it would be 50 hours before the fun would begin, and I would start knocking off some artifacts. Roughly a week into the grind, and 29 hours later, I was coming up on track level 29, my first chance at an artifact. I was hopeful, and I was indeed lucky, as I got my first PvP track artifact, the Great Sword Grace. Grace is a really fun Great Sword artifact designed around speedy gameplay. It comes with a unique perk of offensive speed, which gives you plus 20% movement speed for 6 seconds whenever you enter the offensive stance. Along with that, you get vicious and keen speed, which can lead to some really fun to play speedy greatsword builds. When When it comes to how it looks, I'm not the biggest fan. It doesn't look bad, but for an artifact, I think there's a lot cooler greatsword options out there. But nevertheless, Grace becomes artifact 19 on the account, with a massive jump in the total grind time up to 39 hours and 5 minutes, tripling the total grind time we put into the entire series so far. From there, I had another 10 hours of grinding for my second chance at an artifact, on track number 39. Unfortunately, this time out, I wasn't lucky, so the final push to PvP track 50 began. As I slowly grinded away towards track level 50, Season 8, the Season of the Divide, dropped, and with it, 7 more artifacts came out that we needed to add to the list, with some PvP track artifacts being added as well. Those artifacts are Runic Greaves and Old Crown. Plus, the 2 artifacts from the previous season's pass, Heceta and Otzi, also got put behind the PvP track, but with a little caveat. These 2 artifacts mark the first ever PvP track artifacts to also have PvE methods of being obtained, a very welcome sight that I'm sure all PvE players will be happy with, and maybe they'll even implement PvE ways to get all of the previously released PvP track artifacts in the future. I just wish they would have done so before I did this crazy grind. Following the same theme, they also added this new kind of material known as a raw Orichalcite stone, which allows you to craft any artifact you want, which is massive if you just want one for the PvP track, as it can save you a crazy grind. It was a reward from the hardcore seasonal server, and currently there's no other way of getting this item, but I'm sure more ways will be introduced in the future, so keep an eye out on New World database for when new drop sources get released. But I didn't have any of these items on my artifact hunting account, so I got back to the grind. As I neared PvP track level 50, I decided I wanted to maximize the amount of artifacts I could get per track level up to level 100, as the odds will drop after that, and with how much Azoth salt I need to grind per artifact, I wanted to minimize this process as much as I could. So I made the decision to knock out all the PvP track artifacts that had PvE methods before I hit track level 50 to not waste a track on one of them. So first up, I was after the Ice Gauntlet's Otzi. This is a really cool artifact that comes with the unique perk of Frozen Tomb, which will change the way you use Entomb. With this artifact equipped, whenever you break out of your Entomb, if you hit a target with your Entomb break, you inflict them with Frostburn, slowing their move speed by 10% and dealing 10% of your weapon damage every second for 5 seconds. Along with that, you get Refreshing Move and Vicious for the final perk of your choice, which is a solid all-around perk combo. When it comes to how it looks, I'm a big fan of Otzi, and it gives me Infinite Gauntlet vibes from the Avengers. I can see some really cool Thanos transmogs built around this. Along with this being obtainable on the PvP rewards track, this artifact can also be gotten from the open world boss Quico over in the Elysian Wilds. To get to him, teleport into the Cave of the Full Moon fast travel point over in Dredged Landing, as seen on screen, and run a bit north to his spawn location. He'll spawn every 6 minutes in the little lake with the 2 elite chests beside it. Waiting up on this rocky cliff is a good spot to sit AFK while you wait on him to spawn. I got a group together for this grind, but it's possible to solo him. You just have to watch out to not aggro mobs around him, as that'll up the difficulty significantly. On my first kill of Quico, I got nothing good, but on kill number 2, I managed to get Otzi to drop, making it artifact number 20 on the account. Each kill took me 1 minute, and with a spawn time of 6 minutes, it took me roughly 10 minutes of grinding to get the artifact, bringing the total grind time up to 49 hours and 15 minutes. After that, I was after the Life Staff Heceta. This Life Staff comes with the unique perk of Light Touch. With this artifact equipped, for 5 seconds after casting a Life Staff ability, the next heavy attack that passes through an ally will grant Reinforced, giving them 30% damage absorption for the next hit they take within 7 seconds. Along with that perk, you also get Refreshing Move and Blessed, with the final perk of your choice. When it comes to how it looks, I think it's a really nice looking staff, and I like how the handle kind of glows, making it easier to find your healer in a group. Along with being obtained on the PvP rewards track, this artifact can also be gotten from the open world boss, Parthenosius, over in Cutlass Keys. To get to him, teleport into the Shrine of Sisyphus fast travel point, and run east over to the elite stronghold, Eridanus. There's a fast travel point that looks closer than this one, but it's at the bottom of the cliff, so it's easier to just teleport into Sisyphus. You're going to want to run through the elite stronghold, and the boss will spawn in the room at the back of the structure, with 2 extra mobs in there, and a cluster of other mobs just outside the door. You will also need to cut through some trees to get into this building, so having someone with you with at least 150 logging is vital. The mobs around the area are very difficult to solo, so I highly recommend getting a group for this, but once I got here, I got to grinding. The first kill saw the start of my longest dry spell in a while when it comes to artifacts. Luckily for me, the group I gathered was down to stick around for a few more kills, as kills number 2 and 3 saw me still without Heceta. I continued inviting more and more people via recruitment chat as others would leave, and for kill number 4, I finally managed to get the artifact I was after. That makes Heceta the 21st artifact on the account. With the boss taking 6 minutes to respawn, and an average kill time of 1 minute, I had gotten Heceta after roughly 20 minutes of grinding, leaving the total grind time sitting at 49 hours and 35 minutes. But with those artifacts out of the way, I made the final push to track level 50 to start knocking out the rest of the track artifacts. 11 hours of PvP grinding later, the fun was about to begin, as track level 50 neared completion and the artifacts were about to start rolling in. As you can see on screen by all the OPR, race, war, and 3v3 reward crates I got stacked up, this was one hefty grind to get here. Plus, I've done a ton of PvP missions as well over in Great Cleave during this process. It's safe to say, after I knock off the remaining 13 artifacts, I'm going to take a break from PvPing for a while, but I still have a massive grind ahead of me, but this time, more related towards Azoth's Salt. And to make things even more difficult, Season 9 dropped, with even more artifacts for me to hunt down, including a couple more behind the PvP track, increasing the grind I had ahead. We were currently sitting at 60 hours and 35 minutes on the account, and the grind was only just starting. From here, tracks continued to come easy, but salt was my biggest struggle. I burned through the vials I had collected up to this point very quickly, and from then onwards, I was averaging 50,000 salt per 5 hours of grinding. I did a combination of things to get my salt. When I felt in the mood for PvP, I jumped into some OPR matches and races, especially ones where we were defending, as a good source of salt. Or, if I wasn't in the mood for PvP, I'd farm corrupted breaches while flagged up, getting 1,500 salt every couple of breaches closed. Plus, I would run the previously mentioned Great Cleave missions method on occasion as well, to change things up. I would also put all of the gold I was earning in this period into doing the Infused Alkahest method to earn Azoth's Salt on the side, which is a method I made a video going over that will be linked in the video description below. Sometimes I would even just pay people to come let me kill them outside Everfall Gate, 500 coins per person, to get fast and easy salt. If you do this though, make sure to only kill each person once, as after the first kill, you'll only get 25 salt per kill. I would get anywhere from 400 to 2,300 salt per kill doing this, but every once in a while, kills would only give me 25 salt, so this is a very all over the place and expensive method. So, the salt grind began, starting with track 50, in which I got the amulet artifact Ankh. This artifact comes with the unique perk of Center of Attention, which makes consumables, lifesteal, and outgoing heals 25% weaker, but all other healing 25% stronger, along with divine, health, and a final perk of your choice. Like with all jewelry artifacts, it has no physical appearance change to your character's look, but the icon still looks pretty nifty. Next up, on track 51, I get the medium chestwear artifact Nimble Coat. This artifact comes with the unique perk of Highly Refreshing, which reduces max cooldowns by 8%, along with refreshing, health, and a final perk of your choice. It's got a pretty cool look to it as well, giving you a kind of space cowboy kind of vibe. For track 52, I got the heavy footwear artifact, the Unmoved. This artifact comes with the unique perk of Unmovable, which makes it so you cannot be displaced, along with Grit Ward, Physical Aversion, and a final perk of your choice. If you're into gold and spiky boots, then these are the boots for you. On track 53, I get the iconic greatsword artifact Serenity. This artifact comes with the unique perk of Balanced Blade, which makes it so when you're in offensive stance, you gain plus 2% in power per attack for 5 seconds, with a max stack of 10 stacks. Or, if you're in the defense stance, you gain plus 2% Fortify when hit for 5 seconds, with a max stack of 10 stacks. Along with Trenchant Strikes, Trenchant Crits, Refreshing Move, and a final perk of your choice. When it comes to looks, this artifact looks awesome, much like the rest of the greatsword models. On track 54, I got the Lifestaff artifact Vengeance. This artifact comes with the unique perk of Life Support, which increases outgoing healing by 25% when not affected by any Lifestaff heal over time effects. Also, when basic attacks pass through allies, their stamina and mana regen rate is increased by 20%/30% respectively for 3 seconds. Along with that perk, it comes with Keen Beacon, Refreshing Move, Enchanted, and a final perk of your choice. When it comes to look, finally looks a bit basic, but you can always throw a skin on it. On track 55, I got the heavy headwear artifact Unyielding. This artifact comes with the unique perk of Hard Head, which is a PvP only skill that makes it so you receive 20% less damage from critical hits. Plus, the helmet's weight is reduced by 6%. It also comes with Refreshing, Shuriken Fortification, and a final perk of your choice. When it comes to looks, finally looks a bit goofy, but I bet you can make some pretty funny looking transmogs with it. On track 56, I got the heavy footwear artifact Runic Greaves. This artifact comes with the unique perk of Expeditious, which makes it where activating a heart rune will grant 23% move speed for 6 seconds, along with Hasted Vigor, Elemental Aversion, and a final perk of your choice. When it comes to looks, this artifact looks awesome, giving you the kind of winged boots look. On track 57, I got the heavy legwear artifact Ironheart. This artifact comes with the unique perk of Steady Foundation, which makes it so when you're not in a heavy loadout, your max health is increased by 20% of its base value, along with Refreshing, Enchanted Ward, and a final perk of your choice. This isn't the best looking artifact, but you can make some pretty fun builds with it. On track 58, I got the light headwear artifact Cowl of Power. This artifact comes with the unique perk of Desperate Energy, which makes it so if you hit an enemy while your mana is below 50%, you gain 4 seconds of 25% increased damage on a 10-second cooldown, along with Enchanted Ward, health, and a final perk of your choice. When it comes to looks, this artifact looks awesome. I get a mix of luchador vibes and a crown. On track 59, I got unlucky getting no artifact, but on track 60, I got the light glove artifact, Lich Gloves. This artifact comes with the unique perk of Curse, which makes it so when you activate an ability, you gain a stack of 10% in power for 7 seconds, with a maximum of 3 stacks. However, when you hit with a basic attack, you will lose all of your stacks, and won't be able to gain Empower stacks again for 3 seconds. Along with that, you get Elemental Aversion, Enchanted Ward, and a final perk of your choice. Looks-wise, this artifact looks epic. You get one normal hand with a Lich hand, along with some skulls on your gauntlets, and a really cool green glow to them. On track 61, I got the Kite Shield artifact, Michael. This artifact comes with the unique perk of Refreshing Cleanse, which reduces cooldowns by 5%, and on a block, you lose 1 debuff. Plus, you'll get Counter Attack, Healing Defense, Life Stealing, and a final perk of your choice. Looks-wise, this is a really cool and flashy looking shield that I could see some pretty awesome Paladin transmogs built around. On track 62, I got the medium headwear artifact, Old Crown. This artifact comes with the unique perk of Royal, which gives you plus 11 to all attributes. Plus, you'll get an Energized Spectral Ward in the gem slot, plus 2 more gems in the Immaculate Onyx and the Immaculate Opal, with a final perk of your choice. Looks-wise, it's a bit basic looking, but I can see it working well in a variety of different transmogs. On track 63, I got the Blunderbuss artifact Pestilence. This artifact comes with the unique perk of Blighted Enchantment that makes attacks from both weapons against the target inflict a stack of poison and a decreased incoming healing by 5% and outgoing healing by 2.5% per stack for 3 seconds, with a maximum of 3 stacks and a 1-second activation cooldown, and Pest, which gives you an 8% damage boost against poisoned and diseased targets. Along with those unique perks, you get Plagued Crits, Keen, and a final perk of your choice. Looks-wise, this is an epic-looking blunderbuss. It almost looks like a dragon head with the barrel coming out of its mouth. And finally, on track 64, I got the last and final one I needed, in the heavy legwear artifact, Freedom. This artifact comes with the unique perk of Unending Freedom, which makes stun, slow, and root effects base duration reduced by 20%, along with Freedom, Enchanted Ward, and a final perk of your choice. This is a pretty basic looking artifact, but the gold trim on them isn't terrible looking, and could really work in some transmogs. After finally knocking off the last PvP track artifact I could, the total grind time saw itself sitting at a whopping 123 hours and 35 minutes, with 113 hours and 30 minutes put into this episode alone. We also saw 17 more artifacts added to the collection. With all of the grinding out of the way, it was time to hang up my hat and call it a day. It's safe to say, I'm not going to be PvP track farming for a little while after this one. The collection is starting to look really nice though, as we passed the halfway mark to collecting all of the artifacts, with a grand total of 35 artifacts hunted down. And after all of that track and salt grinding, the account was left with all of these reward caches from all the various methods I used for this immense farm. I'm saving these for future artifact releases, for easy unlocks to help bring the grind time down a bit overall in the long run. But that brings an end to this crazy episode. Let me know what artifact you'd like to see me hunt for next, and if you'd like to learn more about artifacts, and plan on which one you're going to go after next, check out the artifact list on my website, newworldguides.com. It'll show you every artifact in New World, sorted by what type they are, and let you know what they do and how to get them. Links to it will be in the video description if you'd like to learn more. Also, if you're enjoying the series so far, please consider giving the video a like and subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so you'll be notified when the next episode goes live. But until next time, have a good one. Thanks for watching another video, and a massive shout out to all the channel members and patrons seen on screen now. Links on how to become one in the video description. If you'd like to watch the next episode of Artifact Hunter, if it's available, click on the video to the left. Or, if you'd like to learn how to level PvP tracks via PvE in the Great Cleave method, click on the video to the right.